So basically I got 2 out of 3 bolts. Stupid axle. That one, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. It's the back of my motor, underside, and right there you can see Nissan Japan. Alright. Took my strut out. Alright. Had to buy longer bits from Home Depot because the short one wouldn't work even with the strut out of the car. And I didn't feel like looking for those axle bracket bolts that bolt up to the side of the block. So boom, there you go. First step for that stupid stuttering bolt up there. There's 2 more on the lower corners. They came out very easy. Worst case scenario, the bits is lodged and it's all the way down there and I can't get it back out. The 3 bolts out of this axle bracket holder, line them up with the bolts on the strut. As you can see, I lodged that in there trying to eat away that last bolt, so I had to take the whole bracket out, which was easier from the first place. Good to know, good to know. Finally, after some persuasion, this is what keeps that axle from coming out from the trans when you get those 3 bolts out. Triangle wise, this is the axle bracket, has 3 bolts. The oil filter side, exhaust side, the white pipe, see? And you really gotta whack this thing, use an extension or something else, or just take it off with that axle bracket. 3 14mm bolts. Got my axle bracket over here sauteing in some brake parts cleaner, so that way in the future if I need to take the axle off, I'm gonna put some of that on there, some brake grease, light duty brake grease, so that way it goes in, comes out easy. Put some along my axle splines too, because you never know. Okay, the axle bracket is all cleaned up. I use sandpaper, a couple of passes with some throttle cleaner, and I'm gonna put some brake grease on it instead of just my anti-seize is locked in the trunk, so all this is just holding the shaft. Well, not even the shaft that turns, it's just holding the axle in place. You know, rotational mass means it needs to be held in by something so it doesn't create vibration out of round. So yeah, time for the new one. So if you want to take out your axle bracket, if you go look through that space, I'm on the inside nut, which is a 14 right there. Yep, about to tighten it back in, which is adjacent to the outside nut, which is a 14. And on top of that one is the third 14. Way easier than dealing with those 3. That's hard to get from the inside. You have to go on the inside between this pre-catalyst facing this way, facing your brake assembly, and try to back those out. And man, it's just way easier to take off this axle bracket. As you can see, I had to get extensions. I had to use many different 14s, like deep socket, shallow socket, but it's way accessible. And if you don't have a leverage pipe like I did, you just get any kind of extension and put a deep socket on it. There you go, you got like a little makeshift leverage pipe to hold it from rounding off the nut and crack the shit loose. I got it all lubed up. I thought about putting the axle in there while it's loose and free, but then I thought about it, no, because it's gonna put tension, and then when I go tighten the bolts, it's gonna be a little too tough. So you just do it by the book way. Just comparing it to the new one, everything looks good. You know, I asked them for one without an ABS ring because this is non-ABS, but they said it'll go in there, it doesn't matter, it'll fit in your hub, and it's only for an ABS sensor to look for that ring. And it's open differential. Alright, let's see if they hold true to it. I already lubed up where this goes. Got it bolted in to its little 3-point harness there. The axle that comes from the store, that harness there, it swings around. That 3-point bracket, and it has threads in it that your bolts go into from the rear. Busted axle boot on that right hand side, and at low speeds and turning, knock, 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 knock. So yeah, it was time to change it. And I changed the axle, took it for a drive. No more knocking. Finally, peace and quiet. Somewhat. Still got other stuff to tackle. Stay tuned.